learned that the Baha'i faith has no clergy.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of have a sign-up sheet.
Okay.
And whoever wants to do it does, you do kind of what they want to do. So
So how do you be like a host for something like this?
You basically just pick out, sometimes you pick a theme and you'll look for different prayers or writings from the major figures in the Baha'i faith.
Okay.
Or sometimes you'll decide to choose a theme and pick out writings from various religions. And then sort of examine the commonality of religions that way. And then, these days it's easy to print those out or find that somebody else has done that online.
Mm-hmm.
Print it out and you get about a 3 or 4 page listing of the readings, and people just share them and stuff like that. And then
music, sometimes.
you might have some music, right? And as you can see, the room is generally like that most of the time. If there's a large group, a more formal meeting, we'll set it up with chairs facing the front, but it's not like an altar or anything like that.
Okay.
It's just more like an auditorium.
Yeah.
I'd say.
We do that when we need to maximize the number of chairs.
Yeah, so you got about 100.
110 will fit in there.
And you can see there's some windows on the side there, so
Yep.
it's kind of an overflow area there. And also
Okay.
right here where you can, if we get more than would fit in that room, I can see and hear what's going on.
Okay. So we kind of looked up your holidays, you could
Mhm.
say.
Yeah.
Is there one big holiday in particular that you guys celebrate?
Not in the same way that Christmas is for Christians. There, as you notice, there are a number of them. Most of them either having to do with the history of the Baha'i faith, like when it started,
Yep.
or
Death.
the birth or deaths of Baha'u'llah or the Bab.
Yep.
And the 9 days of Rizwan are maybe the most important. That was when Baha'u'llah declared that he was the prophet for this day. And there are actually 3 days that are celebrated at that time.
Okay.
But again, those are planned by, there's not a set scripture or a specific thing that you're supposed to do at those times. So it's up to either an individual or a committee to plan those times. We just had one last Monday, which was the birth of Baha'u'llah, not this Monday, but previous Monday.
Yep.
And there were about 100 people. It was pretty packed here, and Jenn, and what it had was some music and some video presentation, very short talk, and a lot of prayers and some refreshments. It could be as simple as that. So, as I said, there isn't a lot of ritual. There are prayers that are sometimes said specifically for the birth or the death of Baha'u'llah or his son Abdu'l-Baha, but they don't have to be. There's a prayer that's said for burial at the gravesite, and there's a particular verse that is said when people marry, but that's very short. And other than that, there's really not much else.
Do you guys do baptisms at all, or confirmations, or any kind of like rituals like that?
No, there's really not much. A lot of this is up to the individual too. Individual Baha'is need to say a prayer every day. They can either say a short prayer between noon and sundown, or they can say a little slightly longer prayer 3 times a day, or one long prayer once a day. That's called the obligatory prayer. And they're also encouraged to read the writings of Baha'u'llah or Abdu'l-Baha twice a day. So some people have said that's like when you pray, you're talking to God, and when you read, God is talking to you. So God talks to you twice a day, but you talk to him once a day. So
Okay.
you should learn something from that.
And like your holy book, do you consider that a Bible or just holy book, or how would you?
Yeah, there isn't one book that's like the holy book, like the Bible. Baha'u'llah wrote dozens of the equivalent of dozens of books. Some of them were actual books, some of them are collections of letters, or sometimes there's a book this large, just about this large, which is one letter. So there are lots of those. There's one that's called Kitabi Aqdas, which is the most holy book, which has a lot of the Baha'i laws and descriptions about how Baha'i should act and like that. But it's not really the same as the Bible, which is a collection of, stories and lots of things, actually, and lots of books, actually, all along.
Yeah.
So.
But Baha'u'llah wrote for 40 years, so yeah, there's lots that hasn't even been translated to English yet.
Yeah, and since we're in the age we're in, as opposed to 2,000 years ago,
Yeah.
Everything that he wrote was, or dictated, has been kept, so we have access to the actual writings or words that Baha'u'llah used, so we can authenticate
So
it.
that's
So,
nice then, so you
Yeah.
can go back to the original.
so the original, exactly, yeah. And then Baha'u'llah specifically named his son Abdu'l-Baha, in that picture there, to be the appointed successor in Baha'u'llah's will, to be his successor in terms of interpreting what Baha'u'llah had said.
Yep.
And then when Abdu'l-Baha passed away in the 1920s, he named his grandson, whose name is Shoghi Effendi, to be the guardian of the faith. And again, it's a little different standpoint, but it was basically the head of the Baha'i faith at that time. And so he basically kind of kept things together for the whole world and helped as the Baha'i faith expanded. And then in Baha'u'llah's writing, I don't know if you've already looked into the administration of the Baha'i faith. There's, as Rhonda said, there are no clergy, but there, in order to make sure things happen, there is a kind of a structure started at the local level. If there are 9 Baha'is living in a locality like a town or a city, once a year they get together and elect a local spiritual assembly. And they do this without nominations or campaigning. They just, everyone just decides who they think the 9 people are that would best serve in this way, and by secret ballot. And then the 9 people that get the most votes are the members of the local assembly. Individually, they have no authority at all, but they meet as a body and make decisions. And then also once a year, the National Assembly is elected from delegates of different areas. So, for instance, Minnesota has 2 or 3. The lines are a little.
It's getting
different.
more, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It used to
4 or
be.
5, I think.
It used to be just southern and north Minnesota,
Yeah,
and now they're sort of different.
and divided by the rivers and the south of the
Part of
Minnesota
Wisconsin
River.
is in
And,
one zone. Anyway, it's a little complicated, but anyway, the delegates elect the National Spiritual Assemblies. And then once every 5 years, the National Spiritual Assemblies meet at the International Center and elect the Universal House of Justice. So that's a long way of saying that after Shoghi Effendi passed away in 1957, the Universal House of Justice was elected in 1963. really enough Baha'is worldwide to be able to elect them, and so that they're the international administrator.
So I've noticed that like this is more